Hey, what is up everyone? Danny and Alex. Today for Mixed Martial Arts, I want to talk about an effective and very powerful punch you have in your arsenal. Okay guys, so I want to only dedicate this video to showing you guys the overhand punch. All right, why do I say it's a very powerful punch? Because you're really swinging all of your body weight into the punch. But most people think they know how to do an overhand, and you might be right. But for those of you who are starting out, you might never seen how to do the mechanics of the overhand punch. So, of course, if you're right-handed, you'll have that strong side using this stance. And if you're left-handed, it's going to be called an overhand left, right? I'm right-handed, so we'll talk about the overhand right for this video. Now, before we start to show how and when to apply it, I'm going to show you guys proper biomechanics, okay? So number one is don't even, think about your feet. Just use that arm and just swing it downwards like this. So imagine you're just slapping downwards like this, okay? So this is pretty much the motion you're going to be doing when you throw the punch, right? I'm just exaggerating a little bit to get that flow, and it's a good warm-up for your body, your core, your waist, and your shoulder to warm up before you throw it for real, right? So that's the overhand. Now you keep on doing the same motion, but now close your fist and keep a relaxed arm when you do the motion. Just keep it like your arm is limp, and now just close the hand and just slam the overhand down, see? Imagine, I used to practice Kali, and you would just slash the stick or the sword down, right? So just slashing it downwards like this. And that is the overhand right. Notice one thing though, my back leg will rotate. I'm always going to be rotating on the back foot and planting the majority of the weight on the lead leg. Sometimes I'll even step on an angle, as you'll see in a moment when we incorporate some combos. Now, a few things before is I always recommend know how to execute and how to connect. So execution is what we just covered, but the connection will be how you hit it with your hand, all right? So the two first knuckles is where you ideally want to make contact with. So when you hit the overhand right, notice how it's going to come on an angular, diagonal fashion and hit the two first knuckles as such. If you point this, what's going to happen now, it's going to be the fingers that's going to hit, and if you hit the top of the skull like this, you're going to hurt your own hand, even possibly break your hand, right? So you want to rotate the wrist so that way there the first two knuckles will make contact, okay? So that's what you're trying to aim for. So when you practice like this, you want to visualize the arch of your arm coming through. And you don't have to go fast or powerful, of course. We're just using that biomechanic of rotation and throwing the overhand across, all right? Now, once you're comfortable with this, now you can start to speed it up in shadow, but you want to eventually know if you're landing the punch, number one, correctly, and secondly, if you have enough power, right? So the only way to see that is going to be either on a heavy bag, or in this case, we're going to use a Thai pad, which we'll show in a moment. I brought in Alex with the Thai pads just to show you guys how you would hit it on the target. So notice I didn't put any gloves on, right? I do recommend you wear gloves, but I do want to show it without the gloves. And I also recommend, if you're starting out, to try a few repetitions without the gloves as well. Why is that? Simply because when you wear either a boxing glove or even a mixed martial art gloves, you have some padding, and sometimes, especially true with a boxing glove, you can get away with poor technique of how you make contact with your punches, and you're not going to really feel a difference. Even if you slap with the top of your fingers, there's still padding on the glove. But if you do that bare knuckle, you're going to break your hand, right? So with an MMA gloves now, it's kind of like that in between where the fingers are exposed, but you have padding on the top of your knuckles. That's where you want to make contact ideally. Don't forget, you're going to be placing some gauze underneath that glove, and when you're training, you have a pair of hand wraps as well. But just for demo purposes, I do want to practice without the gloves right now. And I'm going to have my partner, and this is also a quick tutorial, how to hold the pads for the overhand is you don't want it straight as such as if I was throwing across. He wants to place it slightly angular like this towards the ceiling. That way it gives me the perfect contact, because the overhand, if I just use Alex like this, is not a straight punch that comes here. It comes from the top and comes all the way down and slashes through. So the overhand is a very powerful strike, and it's not going to be used all the time like other punches such as a jab or a cross, but when you do see an opening and you might land that hit, you're committed to throwing all of the body weight, all of your might into that strike. Okay, so how we practice now is I want you to feel to hold the pad and connect with the two first knuckle into the pads. So it's going to be as such. You start slow, stationary position, leave the hand loose, but only clench the fist when you hit the pad from here. Boom. Boom. Two first knuckles and not the fingers. Always the two first knuckles. Boom. All right, so I bring the elbow up and I imagine that I'm hitting the floor. Boom. It goes right through. Boom. Boom. Okay? And that's how you want to start to practice this technique when you're starting out. Now let's look at, once you're more experienced, and I'll show you guys a very easy tactic to land the overhand, is now we're going to continue initiating the combination using a jab. All right? So just like a 1-2, I'm going to throw my jab here, but as I throw it, if I know I want the overhand, I want to create enough space because the reach of my straight right and the overhand is going to be different. So that means it's going to require for me to close the distance, and that's done with the lead foot. So now, watch how it's going to look like. So he's going to hold both for me. I'm going to go 1, boom. So what happened now, slow motion, is I've hidden that step using the jab. So instead of just jabbing on a stationary position or stepping in a straight line, I'm going to angle step out as I'm jabbing. And now that aligns my overhand right for the chin. In this case, my target is the thigh pad, so you see me leaning a little bit further into it. But in reality, it's just a stutter step, so that way I can land the overhand either on the top of the, where the temple is, on the bridge of the nose, or on the jawline, okay? So watch slow motion again. I step on the angle to throw in that overhand right, okay? So now with better technique right here, hush, hush. Okay, once again, slow, boom, boom. And that lead leg has to be properly planted for you to keep your balance to regain in the case where you're going to miss the overhand, okay? Because not all shots are going to be accurate shots. Sometimes you might miss, so it's always important to regain your balance, the structure of your stance as fast as possible once you hit the opponent or even miss the opponent. So there you have it, guys. Quick tutorial on how to throw the overhand right. An effective punch for mixed martial arts. We use it more in MMA than we do in boxing or Muay Thai. But the overhand is an effective tool for any striker's game. Guys, leave us a thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed this content and make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one. Until next time.
We'll see you guys in the next video.
Take care.